Welcome to the RadioU podcast. Coming up, it's so hot the sidewalk could cook an egg on you.
Also, Taylor Swift's folklore just got a little more expensive.
All that and more on the way next. I never know what to say here. It's the beginning of the podcast, but we already did an intro, but this is only for the pod. Do I say hello again? I don't know.
Yeah, hello again, and welcome to the exclusive segment for the podcast.
Yeah, this is only for the podcast, and this is the only place you'll hear a recap, a little day-by-day itinerary of what happened on my quick road trip down to Florida.
Yeah, so let's break it down.
Yeah.
Because you left here early Wednesday, left work for early to hit the road as soon as possible.
Yes.
So start us off.
So we drove down, there was nothing really notable about that.
About the
trip
drive.
to the hotel anyways. Stayed in a place called Hillsville, Virginia.
Oh, you went to Virginia. I thought you were going to SC.
Eventually,
okay.
I got there, but the first day stopped in Virginia. Not much notable, except we went to... Was there anything that I don't know? We went to a place called Sliders, which was like a local, old-timey, like fast food place, but it was like one of those stand kind of things.
Oh.
There wasn't a lot of options in Hillsville, Virginia, but that was one of them. Mm-hmm. Really good corn nuggets.
Oh, okay.
So then we stay the night there, drive further down through North Carolina and South Carolina, which was a ton of construction.
Yeah.
Didn't love that.
Yeah.
Then once we get down to Georgia, I wanted to stop at this place called the Smokin' Pig. It's off of Highway 95 of I-95.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this.
The Smokin' Pig, I stopped there as a child on at least one of my family's trips down to Florida. Mm-hmm. And I remember it at that time being the best barbecue I had ever had.
Okay, did it live up to the hype again?
No.
Oh.
And so I don't know what the lesson there is. Is it you, like the further away you are from something, the more fondly you remember it?
Right.
It's been several years. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's the Smokin' Pig.
Yeah, maybe
that's
they've
gone
fallen
down.
off a little bit.
Or maybe I just caught them on a bad day. Or maybe it's not that I built it up too much in my mind, but that my standards have gotten higher over time.
Yeah.
And so what was the best back then for what I had compared to now, I've had so much barbecue and I've had better things.
Yeah. So as a kid, it's like hard to judge because you haven't experienced as much, tried as much.
Right. And so I don't know what the answer was there. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was not... I wasn't like, next time I come down 95, I got to make sure I stop at Smokin' Pig again.
Yeah.
It was, I've had better barbecue at several other places more recently. Where we were going was a place called Fernandina Beach, Florida.
Okay.
It is the northeasternmost point of Florida.
Okay.
Where there's a channel, a little river. It would be quite a swim, but you could swim across that river is the Georgia shore, southeasternmost point of Georgia.
Yeah.
Cumberland Island, which is full of horses. We did not go to Cumberland Island.
Okay.
But we did on Fernandina Beach. It was just slow beach, like
living
island life. It is an island. It's Amelia Island. And so a lot of it is just, it's an odd place.
Okay.
A lot of it is like beach homes and whatever.
Yeah.
There's some, but it's not touristy enough where like there aren't people that live there full time.
Yeah.
Or where it's overrun by tourists.
Yeah.
So a very odd mix of like regular life, but really a beachy version of regular life.
Yeah.
Kind of a nice mix. Like I can imagine it. We were visiting family down there. They're talking about moving away because it is a little expensive. But I'm like, why would you ever want to leave this? Like, it's got all the amenities of like living in a regular town, but also you can just go to the beach whenever.
It's giving me Jimmy Buffett vibes.
There's literally the Jimmy Buffett highway runs through Amelia Island.
Yeah, I feel like Jimmy Buffett wrote Margaritaville about Amelia Island.
It might be, for all I know.
Yeah.
I don't know that much about Jimmy Buffett.
I don't either. I have no idea if that's accurate or not.
I believe that he's from the western, like the panhandle of Florida.
Probably.
If I remember right.
I just think all of Florida. I think of Margaritaville. Like
yeah,
the shores, the coastlines.
It definitely, I think Jimmy Buffett, if he were still with us, would be happy to be in Amelia Island. It was very just a chill life. And so there's not a lot to report. Like we didn't do it. We went to some restaurants there, whatever. We didn't do a lot though. We did go to this place that was doing a shark tooth raffle.
Oh.
Didn't win any of those.
Oh.
Yeah, but just hanging out with family.
But you got to see them, right? Some cool shark tooth.
We saw some shark tooth. We looked extensively on the beach. No luck.
Oh.
And it sucked because in this shark, it's like a museum and store of shark teeth.
Yeah.
And they're like, all these, they show this huge collection. All of these teeth were found without digging or,
they just washed up on shore.
They just washed up. And we just found them from walking the beach. And then we go walking like literally 3 times, walking the beach for a while. No sign of shark teeth.
I don't think I've ever found a shark tooth on the beach either. But yeah, I feel like you need to live there. You need to walk there every day.
I did. We found multiple shark teeth when we went to Pensacola at the beach there, which was and that was in like 2 days. So you can do it. You just gotta know where to go. You gotta have the right place, and you gotta be dedicated because even on places that have a lot of them, but at Pensacola we found 2, but it still took a lot of digging.
Yeah.
So not a lot to report. We talk about Whataburger later in the podcast. The drive back we went through to try to make it more fun and break it up. We went through Gatlinburg.
Okay.
To get to Gatlinburg from Florida, though, is not a lot of fun. It's a very boring drive until you literally get to like the Smoky Mountains and the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yeah, which I'm sure was so busy because this is the time of year where so many people are going there.
It was busy. This was on Sunday night, so it wasn't a hot time for it.
Okay.
But there were still, it's windy roads. There's literally a spot in the road where it made a complete circle.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, why did they build it like this?
Right. Why is it like this?
Why is this like a roller coaster?
I just remember the last time I went to Smoky Mountain, oh my gosh, way too many people. I like to find places kind of similar to where you were, where it's like you found a hidden gem.
It was a hidden gem. I would love to go back to Amelia Island.
Yeah.
And just hang out there for a few days. It's not touristy, so it's not like there's a massive amount of things to do. But if you just want to hang out on the beach and kind of find some nice restaurants and whatever, and maybe stick out a little bit as a tourist, but not feel like everybody around you is also tourists.
Right.
It's a good place to go. Gatlinburg, we stayed at a hotel in Gatlinburg and had a nice view of the river, which is beautiful. I love that. We got to go to Buc-ee's, which is an always along the way. And we did see, when we were driving through the mountains, we did see elk. No bears, though.
Oh, but the elk are really cool to see.
Elk are cool, and I didn't even remember that elk were in the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was something. I was like, I'll always have the eyes out for bears, but never thought about the elk.
Yeah, and elk are huge, too, so it's pretty cool to see them. That
was a fun sight. We got real close up with them.
All right.
But not too close.
You didn't throw a Starbucks drink at them, right?
No, nothing like that, of course.
Nothing like that guy on that video.
Very respectful of the elk.
Good.
And then the drive home, which...
All right.
Yeah, so, and here we are.
Sounds like a very fun, relaxing trip, which I think you needed, because I feel like the last trip you talked about, you were like, it was okay, but not as relaxing as I wanted.
Yeah, maybe another topic for another day. I want to, because I think something we were talking about on the trip is, does every vacation need a planner? And I don't mean like somebody you pay, but just like, does there need to be one person that takes charge,
takes initiative,
to make sure that you're not just sitting around, and that also everybody gets to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes because a lot of times on trips, I notice this with many different groups of people, you can wind up having some ideas of what people want to do, but if you don't have something planned, then you sit around going, well, do we want to do this now? Well, I don't know. Do we want to go eat now? But if we eat now, then when are we going to eat later?
Yeah.
And you just waste so much time while you're on your trip doing nothing.
Yeah. You need that person that's going to be the leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we do need to talk about this because I feel like a lot of people have different opinions.
Yeah. And I love planning, but do I love being the person that demands that just rounds everybody up and going
the itinerary?
Yeah, I'll plan, but then I need somebody else to be the strength,
the heavy.
Yeah, exactly. So that could be some vacation advice for people, but if they've made it this far, a little helpful nugget.
Yeah.
well, enjoy the rest of the podcast. There's more of that and other more interesting things too. Good day. Welcome to Tuesday on the show. I'm here again, back from my road trip to Florida. Question number 1. What's the best part, or what's the worst part of the road trip? When you are on your way or when you're returning?
Oh, definitely when you're returning, because that you have no reward at the end of the drive other than like, you get to spend a night in your own bed or whatever. But I would definitely say the return home drive is not as fun as the going drive.
Yeah.
Especially when you're driving as far as you drove, which is to Florida, and then from Florida back to Ohio, that's a long drive. But you did stop in Tennessee on your way back?
Yeah, we had break days. We broke it up into 2 days each way. But the it's not just the last day. The last hour feels like it takes an eternity.
Forever.
Yeah. And it's all like familiar stuff because you're getting close to home. And for some reason, that feels like it takes so long.
Yep.
I do think we just got back from our road trip, and I think that this is the perfect time of year to do a long road trip.
Okay.
To return home from a long road trip, but also to arrive at your destination for a long road trip, because the longest days of the year.
And lots of light.
Especially when you're coming home, if you get back home from a road trip and it's dark out, you feel like you've lost the entire day. And not that usually when I get back from a road trip, like yesterday, and it's still light out, it's not like I want to do anything else. I just want to, but maybe I'll actually unpack if the sun is still
out and you don't feel like you need to go to bed immediately.
Yeah. Wintertime is a horrible, I mean, obviously you have the weather concerns, but like just if you have no other issues with your road trip, but you get home at 6 p.m., it's already dark. It feels like you've wasted the whole day. You have nothing to look forward to.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's definitely an advantage to driving these long road trips in the summertime.
Yeah, even though traffic was definitely a nightmare in some spots.
Oh, yeah.
North Carolina is just like all construction now.
Well,
at least on the highway I was on.
Hurricane Helene caused a lot of problems, obviously. So I think there's a lot of rebuilding happening for many years to come in North Carolina.
Another thing, who is the salesman that sold all of the hotels on having these little washcloth size, the towels with the blue stripes at the pool?
Oh, yeah, the pool towels at hotels. Those are terrible.
Every single hotel, the nicest hotel, the worst hotel, they all have the blue stripe, threadbare towels that can fit maybe like your pinky toe, can dry you off. There was children in diapers that were like, "Can I get a bigger towel, please?"
Yeah, like
I don't understand
like a hand towel, like what you would dry your hands at a sink or something.
They're so small. Why do they do that?
They're very small. I don't really know. Maybe it's an incentive to not have people steal them.
Then why do they give us full-size, beautiful towels in the room?
I don't know. But sometimes I used to take the towels from the room down to the pool.
That's what I need to do. But then what do I do in a shower?
Well, you just ask for more pools. You're at a hotel.
Yeah, I can ask for more towels.
More towels, not pools.
I need to start doing that.
Yeah, you just ask for more towels, and they will give them to you.
Every time I pull up at the pool, and it's fun until you get out, and then you're like, how am I ever going to dry off? I'm a big man.
The great thing about staying at a hotel, though, is it feels like they've got like an endless amount of towels.
Yeah.
The worst part is when you go in and they're out. But you can use as many as you want.
When I go to the hotel, this is no joke. When I go to the hotel pool, I just clean off a shelf of the towels.
Just
I'm just like, I'll take all of these with me.
Yeah, because you need all of them, and so take all of them, and then you'll be fine. And you just almost stitch together a bigger towel.
The next guy that shows up though is really disappointed. Yeah, how is he supposed to dry off?
Well, he's just gonna have to wait for the laundered towels to move in.
Gonna go back to his room and get the real size towels.
Yeah.
That you can only have in a room for some reason. Dude, we're all dealing with this heat dome right now, at least most of the east half of the country.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's so hot outside.
It's so hot and also humid. So like the heat index is way higher than the actual temperature. It's well over 100 degrees, or at least feels like well over 100 degrees.
Yeah.
When the temp is actually like 95, which is still very, very hot. But the heat index is really what's killing us.
It's so hot, my iced coffee turned into coffee.
Yeah, I know. Nothing is lasting as far as the coolness. It's so
hot, I saw 2 fire hydrants fighting over a dog.
Oh, no. Where did you get that joke from, Hudson?
I made it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got more. It's so hot, people are drinking Cholula to cool off.
Oh, no.
It's so hot, my sweat is. It's so hot, my sweat is sweating.
We need to stop right now.
It's so hot, the sun is putting on SPF 100.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, yeah, it's really hot.
We rounded up.
It's really hot. It's bad when like Chicago is getting over, like having heat indexes over 100 degrees. Like it should not be that way.
I know you don't think of Chicago as like a warm place, but I mean the Midwest gets really warm in the summer, no matter where you are. So, but yeah, this is definitely abnormally high. It's setting records all across this heat dome area where this is happening. But literally, it felt like, as soon as it was first day of summer, they were like, okay, bet, let's go.
Yeah. Summer showed up.
After
it felt like it had been so mild up to this point.
It had been pretty mild and also very rainy, like, stormy and rainy and gloomy.
You're right. Memorial Day sucked.
Yeah, I mean,
that whole week, it was so, at least where I was, it was so rainy and like in the 60s and 70s the whole time.
Right, and this is how, I knew this was going to happen. This happens every year in Ohio, where as soon as it's like, you think you're about to start getting some nice days, it's going to be 80 degrees and sunny and beautiful and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, 95. Like, here you go.
It abruptly just changes.
Yeah, it's like a light switch.
Right under your nose.
Right.
How are you beating the heat?
I'm not beating it at all. I'm losing every day to the heat. No, I'm just trying to stay inside as much as I can. I am still running, so just got to push the limits on the runs.
Yeah. Speaking of pushing limits, air conditioning. It's stretched to its limits right now.
I'm worried about what my electric bill is going to look like at the end of this month.
I know. So when we went on our road trip, I turned off the air conditioning, of course. What good would it do? Nobody's there.
No one was there.
It was 90 degrees in my house when I returned late in the day.
You should have put it at like 78 or something.
That's what it normally is.
What? You keep it that high inside? Oh, I could never do that.
It's a central air, but it only has one thermostat, so it cools the basement. So if you're in the basement, you freeze.
Okay.
Even if it's 78, because the air conditioner is always blowing.
So are you always in the basement?
Somebody is.
Somebody lives in the basement.
I mean, there's people in there all the time. You have to be in the summertime because it's so hot upstairs.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure everybody's basement situation is different.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I could never live in a 78-degree house.
Yeah, it's tough. And that you know what? That's how it was in Florida too. Because
they didn't have any
They didn't have central air upstairs.
Oh.
Yeah, we were
in Florida?
Yeah, no central air upstairs. And so downstairs you have to, it's so hot there all the time. If you run the air conditioner all the time,
your bills would be crazy. But I've heard of Florida not having heat in the houses, like you can't heat the home sometimes, because it just there's no need to do that. Mm-hmm. But I've never heard of a house in Florida not having air conditioning.
Well, I had to talk with them about it.
You let them know?
I said, listen, you got to change this. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
What kind of host are you? I said.
Did that make your vacation a little bit like sad?
It was like their house is cooler than the outdoors.
Okay.
And they know how to
keep it cool.
Yeah. But it was not quite the relief you expect everywhere else where you just walk inside and you feel the coolness.
Yeah.
So, but at least there's water. The beach.
Sure.
That took the edge off.
Okay.
A new study finds that frequent nightmares aren't just a nuisance. They could be deadly. 8772 RadioU. This was just published in the European Academy of Neurology, where they found that frequent nightmares could lead. They found a strong link between frequent nightmares and faster biological aging and higher risk of premature death.
And I will say, it hasn't been published yet. This was just presented.
It was presented.
But they're assuming there will be a published article on this.
Yeah. Pretty alarming if you're the type of person that suffers from nightmares.
Yeah.
I don't know. The next thing is like, my first thought is, fortunately, I don't suffer from nightmares.
I don't either.
I barely have dreams at all.
Same.
That's probably a different thing that's going to cause me to die. But if you're having nightmares and now you hear this study and it's like, oh no, I'm going to die. Like they really say that if you have weekly nightmares, you're more than 3 times as likely to die before you turn 70. Yeah. Which is pretty young these days. So what do you do? Like now, do you go to your doctor and say, hey, doc, I've been suffering from nightmares just about every week. I heard that new study. What can you do for me?
Yeah, I don't know they don't present any solutions in this article.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite is a big, huge problem.
Okay. Yeah.
No
like what you
it.
said. I'm reading this article. I don't suffer from nightmares, but let's pretend I do. I'm reading this article. I suffer from nightmares. At least 3 a week or whatever. Mm-hmm. What do I do? Because what they say is the reason why they associate this with like aging rapidly or aging more quickly than you should is because nightmares lead to prolonged elevations of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. Mm-hmm. And when you have this stress hormone continually happening on a higher rate than it should, it's causing your cells to, age and die quicker than they should. So yeah, that is the main reason. It's stress. So stress in general, we know, is a killer. Yeah. No matter if it comes from nightmares or work or whatever you're dealing with. So I think the doctor would probably tell you do something to relieve some stress.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. You can't even get stress relief while you're sleeping.
Right. Well, I would imagine if you're having frequent nightmares, maybe there's something going on in your life that's causing that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know the research on that. You know what I mean? Like what exactly does cause nightmares? I know a lot of women that are pregnant, they end up having nightmares because there's a lot going on in their body.
A lot of hormones and things going.
A lot of things, some imbalance. And so I feel like they probably would be like, maybe your pH levels are off or something is not right. What are you eating before you go to bed? Like all of that stuff. I've heard so many different things, so many different wives' tales on why nightmares happen.
Right.
So
there's some people that say you can't eat after this time, or you can't eat this food, or it's always food.
Don't eat any red sauce, like all of that.
Yeah. I don't know if it says here either about how many people, like what percentage of people actually have nightmares this frequently.
Oh, I don't know if it gave any totals. But it did just say that with the faster biological aging accounting for around 40% of that increased early mortality risk. So those that reported the nightmares, 40%, there was a 40% increase of early mortality.
Well, if you're one of the, I would imagine for weekly nightmares, there's not that many people, fortunately, that probably have that. But if you're one of them, maybe start trying to reduce that stress and start talking to the doctor, even though this is so early on.
Yeah, super early research.
In this research. But man, this is so, and I'd be the kind of person that'd be like, well, was that really a nightmare though? Like I have a weekly dream. It's inconvenient, but is it a nightmare? And start talking yourself out of it. But just take it seriously if this study is to be believed.
Yeah.
It could be causing your nightmares could be killing you in real life.
Ugh.
Well, Taylor Swift has now gotten so big, she might be getting her own tax. 8772 RadioU. You know you've made it when they're targeting a tax at you.
Yeah, that's true. Well, she certainly has made it.
She's definitely made it. In the state of Rhode Island, where she famously has a second home, Watch Hill. I actually mostly know about this because sports talk show host Colin Cowherd also has a house there.
Oh, really?
And he talks about Taylor Swift as his neighbor, even though he doesn't see her that often. And it's like a second home.
Right.
But there's a new proposal in Rhode Island where officials want to start taxing seasonal or second homes that I believe are worth over $1 million. And they're taxing these like pretty high. We don't need to get into all the nitty gritty because it's taxes and it's Rhode Island and we don't live there, blah, blah, blah. But it is being called, this isn't the official name, but they're calling it the Taylor Swift tax because it's targeting her and others like her that go to Rhode Island and buy, these nice coastal homes that they don't even use all the time.
Yep.
And so it's just a way of targeting them. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, these Taylor Swift will probably not even notice, even though this is it looks like a pretty hefty tax from what I understand, but she's not even going to notice. She's got so much money. It's not like she's going to get rid of her house there.
No, even though they're calling this a Taylor Swift tax, it's going to impact more regular people.
People that you don't know.
Yeah.
You've never heard of.
Yeah. And when
that just have enough money to have a second home.
Right. Yeah. And when I say regular people, it's like not really that many regular everyday people can afford a second home, but there are a few, and so it would be impacting them more than someone like Taylor Swift. So yeah, but I do kind of understand why this tax would be put into place, because the reality is, we do have a housing crisis here in America. And so people buying homes that they're not even going to use that much, it does feel rather like a waste,
Yeah, I don't know how much making multimillionaires think twice about buying a second home.
They don't think it's like, for them, it's like purchasing a phone to us,
Right. Will this drive the cost down? I don't know. But it does, I'm not going to say I feel bad for multimillionaires either. I would take that problem in a heartbeat. But at the same time, if you put this in your term, if we put this in our terms of what if there was an extra new tax they were going to put in on a little luxury that we like to enjoy? What if they taxed you a little extra on that third fast food order of the week? Well, would we start to feel a little? This is kind of like them doing that for millionaires.
Not really, because that third fast food order isn't taking away something from somebody else. Buying a house and not really using it is taking away the potential for that house to be bought and actually used, by a family that wants to live in Rhode Island, or, a couple that wants to retire there or something. So I think they're just trying to discourage the whole, I'm going to buy a vacation home in New England and never use it. They're trying to discourage that behavior.
I wonder if this also would apply to or if this would be a way around it. So many people that have these second homes, and then it's an Airbnb so much of the time.
Right.
And also think of if you could Airbnb Taylor Swift's Watch Hill.
Oh, she wouldn't want that.
That would be outstanding. But, it's not like she doesn't use it. She very famously has parties there and stuff, but she doesn't use it most of the time because she's out touring and also living elsewhere.
And hanging out with Travis. So, I think at the end of the day, they just want to stop these houses from not being used. But I will say, one of my favorite shows right now is The Gilded Age on HBO Max. And this was going on back then, and it's the 1800s.
Yeah, it's never changed.
Yeah.
Actually, Taylor Swift should just pay all of Rhode Island's taxes. She should just fund the entire state.
She can afford it.
Yeah. MrBeast dropped a new video over the weekend. 8772 RadioU. If you haven't seen it yet, he challenges his friend Madge to lose 100 pounds in a year. Madge is not, for this challenge, not allowed to leave a fitness center training kind of complex for an entire year or until he loses the 100 pounds. Now, it's a fitness center. There's a track. He gets a personal trainer for a while. But if
and a chef.
Yeah. If he can do all of that, I think it was $250,000 of what it starts at. Now, Madge was over 300 pounds when this started.
Yeah, so you'd have to be pretty heavy to have the pounds to lose. 100 pounds to lose is a lot.
Yeah.
I think if I lost 100 pounds, I would look very sickly.
So here's my question. I don't think losing 100 pounds, the average person probably shouldn't lose 100 pounds.
No.
But let's say that's a third of your body weight. Most of us, because if he's 300 pounds, most of us could probably get away and be in very good shape losing a third of our body weight.
Sure.
How much money would it take you to live in a fitness center and only focus on that? And how quickly do you think you could do it?
How quickly do I think I could lose a third of my body weight? And how much money?
Yeah, a little math going on. Because, $250,000 that feels. So here was my thing.
400,000.
He wound up. Spoiler alert. He does it, and it's MrBeast. So there's other challenges. Like every 30 days, it's like this is how many push-ups you did when you first entered.
Oh,
you can get $10,000 for every push-up or whatever it is. I don't know. But,
okay.
So yeah, he was able to add on and get over $400,000 when it was all said and done. To me, this is every MrBeast video. I always watch it and go, that's not the right way you should do it. Because Madge is in there like working out, like doing deadlifts or, like different exercises to build muscle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Madge, what? He has a personal trainer too. And I'm like, Madge, what are you doing, man? You don't want to build muscle. That weighs more. You need to just get all the weight off, you just need to burn all the fat as quickly as you can. That would help you quicker, even though he did it eventually, and it didn't take him that long actually. So I feel like I could do it quicker if I got to quit my job and just focus on losing weight. I think I could lose a third of my body weight pretty quick.
Well, I will say, for those that are smaller, it is harder for you to lose weight. Like when you're at a certain threshold, it's harder.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you are not retaining as much water as somebody that's over 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot easier for you to lose water weight than for, like stubborn fat or something that could be what's holding you back from losing a third of your body weight. And so I think it's a lot easier for somebody that's overweight to that extent to lose that much weight in a short amount of time. Yeah,
you've got much more to lose, and you can do it quicker. I also think there's this video, The Biggest Loser. There's so many things about people losing weight. How about we do a MrBeast video where he challenges somebody to gain weight? Somebody that's like unhealthily, underweight.
Okay.
And it's like, your job is to get up to 130 pounds. How quickly can you do it? Why don't we have more of those videos?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I think everybody's healthy weight is different. And so I feel like it's really hard to determine what that would even be,
Yeah. I just think that it's unfair. I think it's unfair.
It's all one-sided.
To the overweight people. Yeah. There's people that are underweight too, and they need to live healthy lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this was encouraging this guy and showing him that you can do it.
Yeah.
We need some people to encourage underweight people too.
Right.
We were just talking about the new MrBeast video where he challenges one of his friends to live really in a fitness center, and he can't leave according to the video. I was like, did he really? Was this just editing though? Like, did he could go home, right? But nevertheless, he's supposed to be in a fitness center, living alone with a personal trainer for a while. He needs to lose 100 pounds, and if he does, he gets $250,000. And Allie brought up a great point off the air. It's like, and not in a mean way, but it's like, how is this guy going to do once he's back living a regular life, working a job and passing McDonald's on his way to work every day and whatever? Is he going to be able to stay at this weight when he's not in the fitness center bubble? Absolutely,
because one of the things you brought up was the show The Biggest Loser. Mm-hmm. And that show kind of worked in a similar format where, it would take these people that were overweight and it would put them in a fitness center that they were away from home. They were staying with other people that were all working towards the same goal. They had, people helping them with food. They had personal trainers, plenty of gym equipment, no temptation. You're not living in the real world. You don't have a job. You don't have kids. You don't have family. Nothing distracting you from just your main goal, which was losing weight. But as soon as they got out of that environment, they would gain it back. And sometimes people would gain even more. So it was like that experience of being on that show left them off worse than where they were when they started. So yeah, I worry about how someone will do when they return to reality. Yeah. I think this is something I oddly tie this into to Christianity, to a relationship with God, to the summertime where a lot of people go off to camps or festivals or you have these experiences and it's like, it's so awesome and I'm so close to God and I'm not sitting and everything's perfect. Because you're in a bubble, you're in the fitness center. It's so much easier to live a life when you're in this bubble that's without as much temptation. But it's so much harder to go out into the real world. And we have to live in the real world. If you want to lose weight, you've got to not just be able to lose weight when you're in a fitness center
and you're not allowed to leave. You have to be able to keep the weight off when you're past with all these temptations and all the food and all the things that come with normal life. If you want to live a good life, there are going to be temptations with you every single day. Like, you have to live in the real world at some point. Mm-hmm. But the great thing about God is God's not demanding or expecting perfection from you, because we all are faced with temptation. And God is there, like having a physical trainer that you can take with you anywhere.
Right.
He is there. He's that coach that you can take with you to help you accomplish what you want to accomplish and stay away from the things you know you need to stay away from. Jesus is there, and he doesn't have to just stay in the fitness center. He can come with you wherever you want to go.
Absolutely. I usually call that effect the spiritual high.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming out of camp as a teenager or whatever, and you're on a spiritual high. Everything feels right, and then you get home and you crash and you burn. And that's a terrible feeling, but I don't think you have to suffer through that feeling, because I think what true discipleship looks like, having a good relationship with God, is something that can have consistency. There doesn't need to be this up and down, up and down, up and down, where you feel like, one day you're doing great, one day you're not doing great. That does happen, but you don't need to feel down on yourself when those days that are harder happen, as you pointed out. So God's going to be with you every step of the way.
Yeah, for everybody that needs to know, God is not constrained to a church. God is not constrained to a festival or a camp or anything like that. Jesus is there with you whenever you need access to him, and even when you don't, he is still there, ready to be a part of your life and help you through whatever it is, and live the life that he wants you to. If you want to experience that, you can literally call on God wherever you are. Say, hey, Jesus, I want you in my life. I need a coach. I need a trainer. I need some help. And he'll be there with you through it all. You want to know more? RadioU.com/free gift. Happy Tuesday. I am back after taking a few days off for a long weekend road trip down to Florida. And one of the things I got to do, Allie, I was texting with Nene about this. I wish he was here this early so he could be a part of this discussion. But I didn't go to Texas, but I went to a Texas staple for the very first time, and that is Whataburger.
Oh, I think you did mention you were going to try and find one.
Yeah, there was several along the way, and it was one of the things I was looking forward to, but I've heard so many things, and a lot of it from Nene, about how good Whataburger is.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if it's really so good, why isn't it everywhere?
Right.
Kind of thing. And it's like, is it really that good, or is it just him with the Texas colored glasses?
The nostalgia speaking.
So I went to Whataburger, and let me tell you that it surpassed my expectations.
Okay.
In fact, I sent this to Nene. The Whataburger burger is at least as good as Five Guys.
Really?
Yeah, that's the bar I could compare it to.
Okay.
I think we did the first to worst fast food burgers. I don't even remember what I chose for first. Do you? It definitely wasn't Burger King.
No, mine was Burger King. I think you chose Culver's.
It was Culver's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Whataburger is definitely better than Culver's.
I think a lot of places are better than Culver's.
I
was shocked you chose Culver's.
I definitely won that first to worst, but that's neither here nor there. If I had to do it over again, now knowing what I know now, Whataburger is the best fast food burger that I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it changed your life.
Like I said, equal if not slightly better than Five Guys.
Okay.
And Nene said, and probably much cheaper. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know if it's the one I went to, because it was kind of like it was in Florida and kind of a touristy area. I don't know if it's maybe...
Was it as expensive as Five Guys? Because I always feel like Five Guys is a lot of money.
I know. I didn't even pay attention because I like...
You didn't pay attention?
I know our total order was $60, but it was not just... That wasn't just for me. It was for several people.
Okay.
So I don't know. I really did not...
For how many people? That's a lot of money.
5.
Okay, that's not bad, actually.
Yeah, but like 2 people didn't eat very much.
Okay.
So it was kind of like $60 for 3.5 people. I don't know.
Okay, that's a lot more.
Still, I don't know. It was a lot, but
That's
also
like
we probably ordered
restaurant.
more because we wanted to try different stuff than we would normally.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's got to be cheaper than Five Guys. But is
Five
it like
Guys is expensive,
Is
yes.
it like McDonald's level
No,
or Wendy's
clearly
level,
not.
or is
Yeah.
it? Because I don't think I could spend $60 at McDonald's if I tried. And McDonald's is starting to get more expensive.
Yeah.
Now, where Whataburger leaves something to be desired, it's their fries. They were very average, if not a little below.
Which we just did the first to worst fries, so they wouldn't rank well on that.
They would be closer to worst than first, but it's not like they were bad. It's just like...
You needed sauce to make them work.
They needed sauce, to be good.
Yeah.
I also had onion rings, which were very good.
Nice.
And I just like any place that even offers that.
I was gonna say onion rings are always slept on. They're always slept on, and they always hit. I feel like are always good.
They're definitely better on their own without any sauce than fries. Like almost always.
They can stand on their own 2 feet for sure. But I do like to have like a dipping sauce with them.
And when I have onion rings, I'm like, I'm eating a vegetable. There is a vegetable somewhere in this.
Okay, that might be a stretch.
And I get that's all the nutritional value I need.
Okay.
There's gotta be some kind of nutrients in here somewhere that I wouldn't be getting from a potato. One of the things I wish I could have been here for yesterday to talk about more right hot off the presses is the NBA Finals concluding.
Yes.
The Oklahoma City Thunder winning the NBA championship. But we can still hit it here, especially because so many people have been pointing out, and I want to know your thoughts on this, Allie, that the NBA championship compared to the other championships in sports seems to have lost its aura a little bit. What some people have been putting side by sides of other teams winning the championship in the past year in their sports versus the Oklahoma City Thunder winning the championship on Sunday night. And the Thunder's celebration feels so much more muted.
Yeah.
Particularly than the Florida Panthers, who just won like a week ago. They won, for them, their second Stanley Cup in a row. So then most of the players on the team just did this a year ago.
Right.
And there's so much unbridled joy in their celebration. As soon as the clock strikes 0, they're jumping on each other. The stadium's going crazy. Mm-hmm. Then you've got the Thunder running out the clock against the Pacers, and it looks like they're leaving a business meeting.
I wouldn't say it was that bad, but it's certainly not as dramatic as like the Panthers were in their win.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say as far as championship celebrations, it did feel a little bit muted, but I will remind you, a little bit of a somber environment with the injury that did happen to Halliburton. I think that kind of needs to be taken into account with the celebration for this particular championship because that was a devastating blow to the Pacers, and I think the Thunder were showing a little bit of sportsmanship there to not be going crazy in the faces of the Pacers because that did change the entire outlook on that game. But when you do pair the two next to one another, the Edmonton and Florida game, like that is a huge difference in how that celebration happens. Mm-hmm. But I also do feel like there was one where they showed you the Dodgers winning the World Series, the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, and then the Panthers winning, and then the Thunder winning. I feel like out of that 4, you did see the 2 best sports for celebrations, and that has, in my opinion, always been hockey and baseball. Yeah. There's something about the celebrations that happen in baseball and hockey that is more dramatic than in basketball and in football.
I wonder, if I was going to make an argument, one, my argument could be the Thunder are just weird. Like they're like, like SGA and like they're just they're not your prototypical like team, you know what I mean?
They are kind of laid back, aren't they?
Yeah, like they were so nonchalant even after they lost Game 6 with the Pacers and stuff. Like just the stuff they do, they just don't have the personality that fits with so many other like championship teams. They didn't have a LeBron 2016
moment crying on the court,
And in basketball, like these are guys that have played 40 minutes about, that have been on the court for so long, they're tired. Versus baseball, there's a lot of, it taxes you, but there's a lot of standing around. In hockey, while it is very taxing as well, there's a lot of players that have been sitting on the bench that have been able to wait for the. So I think that could be part of it.
Well, and also,
I think
another part of the drama is in hockey, they're throwing all their gear, they're throwing their sticks on the court. That's dramatic. They're also gliding down the ice, racing down. So that's a dramatic thing. In baseball, they're throwing their hats, they're throwing their gloves. In basketball, you don't have stuff to throw.
Yeah, but nobody's jumping. Nobody they're putting one arm around random, people on the sidelines or whatever that you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
It's not the same like team, like, we did this, guys.
I just think it's kind of always been that way with basketball. It's a little bit different than celebrating a sport like hockey or baseball, where you have this massive field to run or this massive ice, to skate around and go a little nuts and throw the goalie into his own goal.
Yeah.
So it's just, it feels like, I would say it was a muted celebration, but if you're comparing it to the two sports that already do have celebrations that are over the top, it might be unfair to compare it to those.
I'll tell you what, this is my last chance to do this, I think, to get on my hobby horse. This playoff showed me how much better the NHL playoffs is than the NBA.
Oh, really?
Because nobody's complaining there's no games that's like, the referees decided it. There's no games that are like, it's injuries. There's nobody questioning whether the Panthers deserve to win the championship, which everybody's doing with the Thunder, saying it's a fake thing. And you get a real celebration and real sportsmanship too when they shake their hands even after the Stanley Cup final.
I think you got some real sportsmanship from the Thunder. I think they showed a lot of class.
I think the NHL playoffs are just better, man. It's the 50th anniversary of Jaws. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah. I got to watch Jaws.
I think it was a couple days ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this year, the 50th anniversary, the summer of Jaws was 50 years ago.
Yeah.
But I have a story here that proves that what is definitely true, that sharks are the least of your worries if you're going swimming.
Okay.
Especially if you're in like a lake or a pond.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The ocean is where you need to worry about sharks. But even that, I would say the biggest thing you need to worry about in the ocean is the tide.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have from experience, I just went to the beach. They don't have signs up warning you about sharks.
Yeah.
They do have signs up warning you about the rip currents.
Yep.
And not to mess with turtles. But this story comes from Germany, where there was no turtles, no tides, no sharks, but there was a giant catfish.
Oh, boy.
Wreaking havoc. In fact, this catfish was so aggressive that it injured 5 swimmers in a lake in Germany, Lake Brombach. It injured at least 5 swimmers. Apparently, it was going around biting people.
My goodness.
And they had to, it culminated in a police officer dealing with a catfish the only way he knew how, shooting it.
Yeah, they had to end this catfish's life.
I didn't know that would work. I didn't know that bullets kept going that far and were that effective in water. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they used like a special type of gun. Or...
I mean, it says his service weapon. It doesn't sound like it was something special.
Like I don't know. You have a handgun or
some
something?
kind of pistol, I would think. So that catfish has been taught a very permanent lesson about biting. 1 people, fine. 2 people, maybe you can get away with that.
1 people.
Once you get to 3, 4, 5, the German police are not going to take kindly to that.
Yeah, it started getting out of hand, and they had to have paramedics on the scene and all of that.
You think too, this is a lake. It's not a pond. Like, this is a big body of water.
Yeah.
And the fact that they could even pinpoint this catfish, I guess, is impressive, but also shows that the catfish was just couldn't help himself. Yeah, right. He was huge too. Yeah,
huge, massive, and also it said that the catfish, they weren't planning to kill it, but it just kept lingering around. So it was waiting to bite more people. Yeah. It was not gonna stop. So they basically were like, "All right, we got to get rid of this." I mean, I'm assuming it's summertime in the in Europe as well. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people probably going to use the lake, going to swim in the lake.
Yeah.
And so they're like, we got to get this catfish out of here before he starts wreaking more havoc.
Yeah, we can't close down the entire lake because of this one catfish.
Yeah.
And so that
I'm
catfish
just sad
goes.
They couldn't name it and let the lore live on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, make it like a real life kind of mythical creature.
Right, like Loch Ness or Jaws, you know, something where you do remember and you always tell the stories of the great catfish or whatever.
Yeah, we could call him Bromby.
Isn't that a name for something else?
I've never heard of anybody named Bromby.
Okay.
Or any monster.
I mean, we did just
It's not very intimidating.
Right.
Though.
We did just do cryptids, so we need a catfish cryptid name.
So often those creatures are named based off of their locality.
Oh, so you were doing Bromby because it's Bromback
Lake
is
Bromback.
the lake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or probably Brombach or something.
Yeah, so Bromby would work. But it doesn't roll off the tongue as like, oh no, watch out, you don't want to go swimming there. Bromby might get you.
Yeah, you might be thinking people are joking if they're saying that.
We'll have to work on that. And we have the RadioU hotline open.
877-2-RADIO-U.
Asking if you had $1,000, but you could only spend it on your favorite hobby, what would you be spending $1,000 on? And lots of people chiming in. We'll start with Logan, who says, I would buy either car parts or Hot Wheels. You could get 1,000 Hot Wheels for $1,000.
Yeah, you could
Pretty close.
You could get a lot with for Hot Wheels. That's it, but that's a really fun hobby, honestly.
When I was a kid, I had a lot of Hot Wheels. Like now I don't collect anything. But I had a huge collection of Hot Wheels when I was a kid.
Yeah, my brother definitely did, and I can't lie, I would play with them too.
Yeah, and I wish I could say car parts was my answer because I wish I knew how to work on cars. Like that is one of my big things. I wish I could do it.
That would be awesome and very helpful. Heard from Regina. She says she loves attending concerts, so she'd spend it to see several different bands, maybe VIP once or twice.
You could do pretty well. I mean, concerts are getting expensive.
Yeah,
but you could do pretty well with $1,000.
At least like what, 10? You know, if you're, but even more than that.
Yeah, at least.
Like depending on what acts you're seeing.
Yeah.
But I would say, at the very, very least, depending on how expensive your seats are, you can at least get 10.
You know what's funny, if you think about that too, like we've been talking about festivals, it's festival season. If you had $1,000, you'd be way better off going through a calendar and picking 10 or 12 concerts to go to than going to two festivals.
Yeah, to one
100%.
or two festival. I would probably agree with that. Yeah.
Lindsay says I'd spend it on planner supplies. The world of planning there's a whole world of planning and it's wild and expensive, but it's a favorite thing right now.
Yeah, that I've seen a lot on like the internet and, Instagram of people doing the daily planners with a lot of stickers and materials. William said, for his favorite hobby, he's like easy going out dancing with his wife. That's so cute.
Oh, that's so nice.
So he says he would buy new dancing shoes and also maybe take some lessons or go to festivals and events with his wife to dance.
That sounds fun.
That is actually such a fun hobby.
You could learn all of the dances with $1,000.
You could learn a lot of them if you wanted to
Yeah.
take some classes. I think some of those classes are pretty expensive, but you could probably learn a lot like salsa and waltz or whatever.
The Watusi.
Yeah, the foxtrot.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to do like line dancing. I always thought that would be fun.
I know. I've seen a few commercials lately, not for line dancing, but where there's line dancing involved. And in The Accountant 2, there's line dancing.
Oh, okay.
And you see Ben Affleck doing something, and you're like, yeah, that does kind of look like fun.
It does look like fun.
Joey might have my answer. I might have found it. He says instruments of any kind, like an accordion or bagpipes.
Really? Okay. So you just want all the instruments.
I could pick up, that would be me picking up a new hobby if it was bagpipes, which I'd love to learn.
You just want to learn
If I had to choose an instrument to learn, bagpipes might be it.
They are awesome.
I used to drum, and I haven't drummed in a long time because having a drum set is expensive, and you need to have a scenario where you can drum.
Yeah, I was gonna say
where you're not annoying
it's
people.
loud, so
I think, but if for $1,000, if somebody was just like, use this on a hobby, I might buy a drum set and just like get back into that.
Maybe get like an electronic one so you can plug headphones in and you're not bothering anybody.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I need. 877-2-RADIO-U. We're seeing so many people getting in with if you had $1,000 but you had to spend it on your favorite hobby, what would you buy? We still haven't got to Allie's answer.
No.
And there's many other people.
So many more.
Hoping to get in here. So send us yours and we will see what Allie has to say and what everybody else has to say. The group chat is full of people letting us know if you had $1,000 to spend, but you could only spend it on your favorite hobby, what would you be spending it on? We heard from Tim, who just said, I've recently started buying cooking appliances, so it's cooking and baking for me.
Ooh, that's a fun hobby.
A useful hobby for you and your family and friends all to enjoy.
Yes.
The thing with that for me, I mean, I'm not much of a cook. I can cook a little bit, but it takes up so much space to have all those gadgets, even though I love getting new cooking gadgets.
Yeah, but also I do feel like you can get a lot done with a little.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's plenty of ways to try different new recipes without getting all the new appliances.
Yeah, you get an air fryer, an Instapot, and a set of nice skillets.
Yeah,
and you're
very
good to
versatile. Yeah. Heard from Erin. She said her hobby is archery, but she said the $1,000 would only cover like one part of a new bow for her. So it wouldn't go very far.
Archery, an expensive hobby.
An expensive hobby.
Lucas, the 5-year-old, said he would spend $1,000 on a jetpack.
Okay.
I like that.
I like that. That's fun.
That'd be a fun hobby to get into. I think it costs much more than $1,000, but you can get those ones where it uses like water to, basically it is a jetpack.
I've seen people use those before.
But
those
you kind of have
nuts.
to be on like a lake or whatever.
Yeah.
So good for the summertime though.
Yeah, for sure. Heard from Andrew. He said he'd be buying some nice woodworking tools, probably I think a planer is what it is.
Yeah.
And a drill press. All right. He gave us specifics.
Some of my favorite woodworking tools to use.
I'm nodding along. I know what those are.
Yeah. I wish I knew how to do woodworking. So I'll tell you, that reminds me of the one that initially jumped to mind.
Yeah.
Is I wish I could spend $1,000 on like lawn equipment.
Oh, that would be nice.
Doing the lawn is not my hobby, but if I had a nice like edger and weed whacker and I would like learn to do it much better. I guarantee like somebody gifted me a bunch of that stuff.
A mower that didn't break down all the time.
Yeah, that wasn't third hand off of Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
My lawn would look so good. I really do think I would spend a lot of time doing that.
Put more effort into it.
Yeah.
Heard from Susanna. She said, great workout clothes and shoes and a new microphone for teaching jazzercise.
Nice. We heard from Tyshawn, who says, I think I'd spend $1,000 on golf, maybe a little golf trip and get the boys together.
Ooh,
yeah.
Golf is a fun hobby, but probably one of the most expensive sports to play. So I understand that $1,000 would be helpful. Heard from Dee. She said art supplies like watercolors and pastel stuff because $1,000 is not going to go far with photography or video, which I guess that's another hobby for her. But it could get you a lot of art supplies.
All right, Allie, we haven't done yours yet. If you had $1,000 to spend on your favorite hobby, what would you be buying?
Okay, so I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I guess I would consider it more than a hobby. It's more of like a side hustle. But I own an Etsy shop that sells like vintage.
Yeah.
And so I love to go thrifting and searching for new vintage items. So I was literally just thinking about this the other day. I was like, man, if I had an unlimited budget and I could just go and buy stuff for my fix for vintage, either for my Etsy shop or for me, because I do keep a lot of the stuff for myself, that would be so fun. So yeah, I would spend it on thrifting, yard sailing.
That's not what we were expecting.
Did you think it was going to be pickleball?
Everybody was sitting here thinking pickleball or books. And you go thrifting.
I mean, books, I feel like you can get them from the library. You don't need to spend that much money on books.
That'd be a waste of $1,000.
Well, I think there's just no need.
You could keep them as long as you want and pay all the fines.
Right. Well, no, I just think there's no need to spend that much money. And they take up so much space.
Yeah, good point.
So I don't want to have
You're not one of those book
library.
Girls that just wants like... You would just use $1,000 to make a library in your house.
I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, Hudson.
Something me and my buds have been doing that might be helpful to you as well is the Candid Photo Challenge.
Oh, you and your buds have been doing this?
Me and my bros have been doing this. Yeah, my friends.
I wasn't sure what you were saying at first. You were like, brother,
yeah, I didn't know if I wanted to call them bros or buds because that's what we call each other.
Bruh.
Yeah. Sometimes they're my chums, my fellows.
Your chums.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something me and my fellows have been doing is, and this is taking off on TikTok and Instagram, is the Candid Photo Challenge. This is the key to getting a perfect, fun-looking candid photo with your friends or loved ones or your partner, possibly even. All you need to do is gallop towards the camera together.
Yes. Holding hands.
Yeah.
That's key.
Arm in arm.
Yep.
And gallop like a horse. And what will happen is this is such a ridiculous act that you all will not be able to contain yourselves from laughing.
Yeah.
So it'll be real genuine laughter, real genuine smiles, and nothing will be fake or forced. And you're in action too.
Yeah, your legs look like you're just walking.
But yeah, nobody will be able to tell that you were galloping. And so this is the key to having a perfect, if there is such a thing, candid photo.
Yes, and I do have to emphasize that you need to do this with someone else because there's so much evidence of when you just do it by yourself, you do look absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, you'll look like a lunatic.
It does not work on your own from what I have seen. If you have found success on doing your on your own, you are a miracle worker.
Mm-hmm. You probably just look good in every picture you ever take.
Maybe you're just very photogenic no matter what. But yeah, I will say if you want this to work, you need to be like doing it together. Mm-hmm. And I have seen so many videos of so many different types of people doing this because a lot of criticism for this trend is it's like, well, the people posting on this trend already are very photogenic. Mm-hmm. They look good in photos no matter what they're going to do.
Like me.
But I've been seeing so many, like the full spectrum of people doing this. And so I don't feel like that actually holds water. I do feel like this genuinely does make people look good.
If you can gallop, you can take a good candid photo.
Yeah, if you can gallop and you can laugh at yourself. Because you do look ridiculous doing it.
But nobody has to know that when you post the picture.
Exactly. The pictures, the end result is worth it.
It'll just look like you and your bros, you and your buds are just having a genuine good time.
Yeah. I really want you to do this with your bros. I haven't heard about the bros yet. You've been holding back on me,
Me and
Hudson.
my bros love hanging out, taking candid photos.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I haven't heard about any of this until now.
Don't really post them because I don't really use Instagram as much.
Well, Rise and Road Trip needs to post this.
Yeah.
That's Hudson's Instagram, by the way,
maybe
guys.
We should. Me and my buddies like Jimmy? Yeah, Feltmore. Jimmy Feltmore. Darn it, I shouldn't have said his last name. Now everybody's going to go look him up.
Are you sure it's not Jimmy Crack Corn?
Yeah, and Brad Boxberger. And all my other guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Earl. Earl. I forget his last name. But we're just so close. We're just on a first name basis, me and Earl.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to the RadioU podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.